Hi, everybody. It's Jackie Schwab again, back here with a Press Play Lifestyle Inspired podcast where we do interviews with people like Allison here on topics to help you, our listeners, find the resources, tools, and support you need to be your best inspired self. So, how are you today, Allison?
I'm fabulous. Thank you so much for having me. I'm super excited to be here.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming. It's always busy days for all of us who are working, and then trying to kind of add in podcasts is certainly appreciated that you took the time. So could you just take a little bit of time to introduce yourself to the audience and let us know a little bit about you and what you do?
Sure. So I'm Allison Jackson. I am a married mom of two teenagers. I'm from New Jersey, and I have a little business called Allison Jackson Fitness. That kind of found me. I'm actually a full-time working employee, so Allison Jackson Fitness is my side hustle. But I recently, I shouldn't say recently, about 10 years ago, started competing in figure competitions, which is, say, bodybuilding meets beauty pageant. And I thought it would be a bucket list, a one and done. So I did it and I fell in love, and I compete every year. So every year I lose 15 to 20 pounds. And people started asking me, like, what are you doing? Like, what workouts? What are you eating? So I always say my business sort of found me because suddenly I'm coaching people and helping them to lose weight. So, and realize, I've always been passionate about fitness, and now it's like, oh my gosh, I feel like this light bulb went off. Like, holy crap! Like, why was I not doing this all along? But they say everything happens for a reason, and where you're at is where you're meant to be. So I feel like I'm just in a really good place right
Oh, that sounds super fun. So your passion sort of found you,
now.
and then you were able to side hustle out of it. So that sounds really exciting. So I felt like kind of ignorant, which is usually rare for me because I have like a lot of random like knowledge, but I had never heard of a figure competition before. I've heard of bodybuilding, I've heard of like beauty pageants, but what would that look like? How is that different maybe from our stereotypical view of the other ones?
Yeah, yeah. So, because people always ask me, like, how did you get into that? What's that about? So when I was in high school, I actually used to read my dad's muscle fitness magazines back when that was like all the rage, like, Mr. Olympia and Arnold, and I would play around with his weights, and it always fascinated me that people could really transform their bodies through diet and exercise. So that was always in the back of my head, like, I want to do that someday. And then it's funny, the bodybuilding started to evolve because, of course, that has a negative connotation, that these women that look like men.
You
And
don't look like a man, just in
oh,
case
thank you. I
anyone was
appreciate
wondering.
that. So now they've come out with actually different grades. So there's bikini, which is the least muscular and softest. They have figure, which is middle of the road. You're lean, but you're not bodybuilder lean. So bodybuilding is actually a separate category now. So that is like as lean as you could get. It's the typical double bicep pose, no high heels. Whereas the one I do, figure, is a little bit, you have to have your hair and makeup done. It's about presentation. You have to have your posing down, and there's no double biceps. Like, it's very like you shouldn't look like you're flexing. So that's what I kind of sort of gravitated to. And you really need to go based on your body type as well. So I carry muscle, but I don't carry enough muscle to really compete in bodybuilding. But maybe after another 10 years, I might have enough muscle to go that route. So that's how it's kind of divided up.
Okay. Yeah, that's interesting. So it's sort of like, um, I guess anything I'm going to say is going to be very stereotyping, but like, like a regular person could be perfect, like fit if they worked hard versus
Yeah.
not everyone can, well, maybe everyone can, but I don't think everyone could get like, I'm going to pump you up like Arnold size.
Right, right. Like, you need to have a really decent amount of muscle, and it is a lot of genetics. I mean, it's funny because I give a talk about, getting lean, eating foods you love, and I show a picture and I talk about myths and myth busting, and I show this guy who's like jacked, and I said, people typically think if I lift weights, I'm going to look like that. Well, not unless you take steroids. Like, it's so hard to gain muscle. So genetically, yeah, if you're very muscular, then yeah, bodybuilding is definitely a good sport for you.
Oh, that's super cool. I think I love that you said that there is some genetics to it because I think people throw the word genetics around a little bit haphazardly, like, oh, the reason I'm fat is because I have bad genetics, or the reason I'm this is genetics. But at some point, some things do have a genetic component, right? I'm
Hmm.
not going to be shaped like Arnold Schwarzenegger. I
Right,
don't have the male parts, first of all, and then all the other things. So,
right.
is do you find people using that? And because I know you are coaching people now in fitness
Mhm.
and health and diet, Do you think people are using that as like a coping mechanism or an excuse at all, or do you not see it as much?
I do. It's funny. I see a lot of genetics used as an excuse, and a lot for like this age range around hormones. And
Ah,
my thing is, if a doctor says you have hormonal issues, then yeah, it's not an excuse. But a lot of people are like, "Oh, I'm menopausal, I'm perimenopausal." I'm like, is your diet where it needs to be? And diet's 90% of it. So the people that are like, "Well, I just can't get those workouts in." Well, if you rein your diet in, you could still make really good progress.
yeah, I could see that because I actually move a lot, so I walk. I mean, I'm not like jogging or running anywhere, but um, it's not moving the needle. But I eat like crap, so yeah,
Yeah.
it's like kind of. And now my husband, though, on the other hand, has dropped like 100 pounds and literally, but he watches everything that goes in his body. Like he doesn't always work out, but he always knows exactly how many things he put in him. And I was like, like it does take both, I think.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
holy
I mean,
moly, like what a huge, and he got like his weight down so much, his health insurance went down,
wow.
in like his blood pressure is better, and I was like, what the, and we're in our 40s. So
Mhm.
sometimes like, okay, I know it, maybe it's harder, but he lost like 100 pounds, like,
That's amazing.
and not being crazy, like just,
And that's the thing. Like, I know everyone's looking for the magic diet, like keto or the supplement or the magic pill. And it's literally at the end of the day, and everyone goes crazy and says, I'm like, it's calories in versus calories out. If you take in more than you burn, whether it's through exercise or not, you're
yeah,
going to gain weight.
yeah. Yeah, I think that's interesting, and I think it's good to hear though. It doesn't have to be that complicated, And actually, I would have to say I think restriction diets are a little, they're scary and they don't do great things for your body. Because my husband went on keto for a while. It didn't work. Like he didn't lose all this weight on keto. I, however, gained like 40 pounds when he was on keto,
Oh,
doing nothing different but eating the food he's making because he's the cook in the house,
mhm.
but I wasn't doing the ketosis or whatever for all those other meals, right?
Right,
So
right,
he's like kind of dropping weight. I'm gaining it all back. And nothing changed other than what we were eating. I was still moving. I was still going to yoga. I was still going to the gym.
right.
And I'm gaining weight. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, how am I working out more than I had in a long time and gaining weight? And then
Right.
people, oh, it's muscle. I'm like, no, pretty sure that's like, those are like saddlebags, dude. You can tell the difference. But I think it's important that where it is actually simple. It's just not easy.
Yeah, it's not. I mean, you need to make a concerted effort. And I always say to people, what gets measured gets managed. So whether you're tracking your weight, tracking your food, tracking your sleep, your water, your workouts, if you focus on it and track it and measure, then that's when you're going to really see results.
Yeah. Well, and obviously figure competition is more difficult than calorie in, calorie out. But
Yeah,
in
but it's the
general,
same. But it's the same premise. Like just as a matter as you get closer to the stage, your calories are going down, down, down.
yeah. And you're starving and all you want is a cheeseburger. No, I'm
Mhm.
just, maybe that's just
Yeah.
me. I might be projecting. No, I'm kidding. So do you is your business coaching other figure competitors, or do you coach like regular people?
That's a great question. So my ideal client, like the people I help, are busy working moms that may have been in shape in the past, but just don't have the time or wherewithal to figure out the best plan of attack. So I typically like to help people that have 20 to 50 pounds to lose, don't know where to start, get them eating right, give them a strategy and a plan. And what I use is I track macros, which is your protein, carbs, and fat. Again, you still watch your calories, but it's a sustainable eating plan that there's nothing's off limits. You're not starving yourself. You're gradually reducing your calories. And so yeah, so I don't personally, that's not my sweet spot, is training competitors. I actually have my own coach that I use for my competition. So that is definitely a very specific type of coaching, and I just like beyond me. I could barely get myself ready. So I'm like, I can't help anybody get
It's
stage
so
ready.
funny. Yeah, I have a friend of mine who's a coach, and she was a a bodybuilding woman person, but she does not. She's like, no, I do not coach people for competition. She's like, I want to help regular people. she's like, my
Yeah.
coach busts my balls. I am not that guy. And I was like,
Hmm.
okay. So it was really an interesting, like, I was like, oh yeah, okay, I could see that. If you're doing it all the time, you don't want to
Yeah,
maybe always
it's
be.
very different. It's very different.
So you said you're a mom of two, right? So are your
Yes.
kids like healthy, fitnessy
Yeah.
kiddos?
So while I'm always trying to lose weight, I have three people that I live with that can't gain weight and eat whatever they want. I mean, they're healthy, and it's funny because my kids, I'm obsessed with my Fitness Pal. That's how I track everything. And so I always try to like teach them, and they're like, "Why are you so obsessed with this? What do you do with it?" So I had them scan their Doritos and showed them because they're like, "What are you tracking?" So I explained to them, and my daughter was like, "Oh my God, there's so much fat in these Doritos." So it's helpful
She's
for
like
them.
shocked.
I know she was shocked. She was like, "What?" Um, so yeah, they do that. All of our meals, it's like protein, carb, and fat. You need to have everything. I try to get them to try new things. So for the most part, yeah, a lot of times, and it's funny because I have like my diet food, like my rice cakes and the things that are macro friendly, and I'm like, stop eating my food, but they do. They like everything that I'm usually eating.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
Yeah.
My husband's a My Fitness Pal guy.
Mm.
He's like obsessed actually. I started out with like a Fitbit tracker like a million years ago. So I'm like, I'm not logging in two places.
Ah,
And Fitbit does not log as well as My Fitness Pal at all. Like
yeah,
they're
because I use Fitbit as well, and I have them tied together. So
oh,
so
okay.
I have a Fitbit scale that is tied to my Fitbit, so which is tied to my Fitness Pal. So my Fitness Pal see when I lose weight,
Oh,
which is
that's good.
interesting.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I have the Fit scale too, like the
Mm.
Ari or whatever I think.
Yeah, yeah.
And then I don't know which one I have now. I like them, so I always buy the new one.
I do too. I still have the Charge HR, Charge
Okay,
2
yeah, I
HR,
have
but I do think I need
Blaze.
a new band. Mine's
Mine's
like
the
falling.
Blaze, yeah, because I don't.
Oh.
Mine's the bigger one.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, I do. I actually do because it has there's in the exercise piece there actually is some like little mini workouts. So like if you're just trying to
Oh.
stretch or just do like a little yoga because you've been sitting on your bum too long, you can just
Yeah.
it gives you a little walkthrough and it's simple enough and it's a big enough and small enough face, which sounds weird, but
Oh, I like that. I like
yeah.
that. I just recently, so I upgraded Fitbit just to see what it was like to have the premium version because I had never had it, and I'm a huge Fitbit fan. Um,
I
they give
wasn't
you
that
a
impressed.
I wasn't either. I did the trial and that was it. But did you get the report that like tracks everything for like whatever, a couple months or a year? Because I'm trying to hack my sleep because I'm having sleep issues. But it was fascinating to see like your resting heart rate and how that's going up and down over the year and your sleep and stuff. So it was interesting. But
Yeah.
I agree with you. It wasn't worth like
I was
sticking
like,
with.
man, really, guys? Like, come on. I'm narcoleptic, and I'm no longer medicated. So I've
It's
definitely
great.
totally see that the sleep is crazy. For me, it's I have to be insanely routine. Like if I even miss my window of sleep for going to bed by even 20 minutes, I'm completely whacked out. So
Wow.
maybe if you're really struggling,
Hmm.
like only do the sleeping at that time.
Well, what's funny is I don't have a problem like going to bed and falling asleep. It's staying asleep. So I wake
So
up
waking
at
up.
like 3:45 and then I'm like wide awake.
Do you ever just get up?
I do. I usually go, well, I go to the gym at like 4:15. So
Oh,
3:45
so
I'm
you're
like,
pretty
I
close
might as well just get
anyway.
up.
You might as well get up. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably fair. Maybe you
Yeah.
don't need as much sleep anymore though, right? I
I
mean,
think I agree. I think the highest quality sleep I get is 6.5 hours. That's like my magic spot.
yeah. So it's and obviously you're still doing fine and
Yeah.
you're not having if you're not having trouble with your stuff,
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Yeah.
So that's an odd sideways discussion.
I know, right?
So thank you for letting me dive into that with you.
Absolutely. I
So
love it.
I thought I was actually I stalk my people that I talk to online. Not really, just in case anyone's listening that way. But I was looking at your podcast or at your website, and I really like the you have some interesting offerings, like
Mhm.
the 7-day or the 7-meal prep ninja mini course.
Mhm.
So what like how did something like that come about? That sounds like super fun.
So it's funny. One of the things I teach my clients is around, you track your food, but you either fail to plan or you plan to fail. So you really need to have a game plan, and it's all about meal prep and meal planning. So I felt like I was giving out so much information. It was like, I just need to create a course out of this. So it's really about the strategy around how to have a really solid meal plan and then to meal prep around that without like, taking all day Sunday to plan your meals. So, and it really helps you to stay on track, to eat right, to eat healthy. You save money because you're buying exactly what you need to cook. So yeah, so I love that course. I'm like, and now I'm like, I wonder if I should add, more recipes and more, because everyone's always looking for those easy recipes you can just throw in the oven
Yeah,
when you get
like
home.
yeah, like what can you eat easily that's still like not gonna throw you into a tailspin because ooh, there was some part of a Cheeto near there. I saw one.
I don't know how that
I
bag of
might have a
Cheetos got in
Cheeto.
there.
I have a Cheeto addiction. I can't lie. I love Cheetos. They're so bad for you, but oh, they're so
Tastes so
good.
good, right?
They are. They're terribly good. But you know what I have seen some people do that I've thought was really cool. Actually, even Pampered Chef, some of the Pampered Chef consultants, they'll do like a meal prep sort of show or whatever you call those, but
Yeah.
they'll cook like their proteins all at once and save them so they can literally like you can grab your bag of veggies that you made that you prepped. They
Hmm.
grab their meat out, grab whatever like starch if they're gonna have like a rice or not. And I was shocked because I was like, oh my gosh, this took so much time. But it took like that hour.
Right.
And then the rest of the week, I'm eating yummy food, which is the whole point, right? I have little
Yeah.
kids though. We still have lots of chicken nuggets.
Oh yeah. Mine are
I'm
back and
over
forth with
that. I'm
that.
just saying.
Yeah.
I'm over the
I
nuggets.
feel you.
Then like so another one that I thought was kind of cool, which they're all great, right? But Fit to Lead was that
Hmm.
it's like kind of your 8-week coaching group community, right? Could you tell us a
Yes.
little about it?
Yeah, so I created, when I initially started, it was all kind of one-to-one coaching, but eventually I moved into group coaching, which is so much more fun because you have a community of people that are on the journey with you, right? So it's this course I built out. Each week you learn something new. So you start out with tracking, and then it's my Fitness Pal 101 and meal prepping and getting workouts in. So over the 8 weeks, each week you learn kind of a different tactic to help you stick to your diet as well as meet other folks. And yeah, it's been awesome. So, based on that program, I'm actually in the process of publishing a book based on the 8-week coaching.
Oh, you'll
So,
have to
yeah,
let us know when your book comes out.
yeah, I definitely will. And then I'm also creating a podcast based on Fit to Lead and highlighting women that are prioritizing, self care and wellness to be at their best.
That is super exciting. And all of this as a side hustle.
I know. I get tired just talking about it. I was like, what am I doing this?
I'm like, what are you doing? When do you sleep? Oh, that's right. You get up at
That's right.
3:40. You don't sleep. That's what's going on.
That's what I'm doing at 3:45.
You're so funny. You're funny. But I think that even that says something. I think a lot of people will go, well, like, I don't have time to work out. And then I'm not judging because clearly, no, it's not clear because you can't see all of me, but I'm not a fitness figure competitor. Okay. I'm just not. But I'm like, well, what time do you get up? And if it's like, well, I fight with my kids, I get up at 7:30. I'm like,
Mhm. Yeah,
okay, like,
yeah,
but you make time for what you decide is important.
yeah. I always say that you either make it a priority or you make an excuse. It's what's important to you.
Yeah, and it's fine if you don't. It's just
Yeah, totally. But
then
don't say that you don't have time because we all have the same 24 hours. It's just how we use them.
exactly. Yeah. So just find a different side hustle then.
There you go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is super fun. So is all of your stuff online then since you're in
All
New
of my
Jersey?
stuff is online. I'm at AllisonJacksonFitness.com. There's lots of free resources. Everyone can help themselves too. There's recipes, meal plans, workouts, all kinds of goodies there. So yeah, definitely check it out. I'm on Instagram, Facebook. So I'd love to connect with folks.
You're in all of the places. All of them.
Everywhere.
Everywhere you want to be.
Everybody want to be online.
That's awesome. All right. Well, is there any last parting words or information that you want to leave the audience with?
Sure. A lot of people always ask like what's one or two things they should do to get started if they're interested in losing weight. So I would say track what you're eating, even if you don't change anything. I think it's really important for people to know how much or how little they're taking in. And then just the importance of sleep and water. You can't lose weight without being hydrated. So drink your water, get your sleep, watch your food, and you should be good.
Wonderful. And then we're all going to be a healthier nation and like diabetes is going to go down and heart rate's going to
Yes.
go down.
Yes. That'd
You're
be
starting a
wonderful.
movement.
Yes, I'm trying. I'm trying.
You're doing it. You're doing a great job. Well, thanks so much, Allison. I appreciate you coming and meeting with us in your busy, crazy life and your side hustle time, but we appreciate it. And maybe we'll see you when the book comes out.
Thank you so much for having me. I appreciate it.
Welcome. Bye.
Bye.